Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike. Here with my, I guess my last video of the day. Or for the week, I'm gonna be doing some other random reviews. This week if I have time. So this review is gonna be sort of like my Marvel or thoughts review. It's gonna be more basic, but it's gonna be a DC review or thoughts and issues and comments and stuff. Just discussing what's been happening. With the DC relaunch slash other news they've announced. So a couple of things they've announced. I'm gonna do the DC relaunch last because this is pretty interesting what's been happening. Um, they've announced that there's gonna be a new Lego Batman game for those who are interested. Lego Batman 2. It's not just a feature Batman; it's a feature a whole bunch of superheroes apparently. Superman, Green Lantern, probably the Justice League, I assume, and other people. So that's pretty interesting. I like Lego Batman. It was a good game. Um, I like Lego Batman, so if they have a Lego Batman 2, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Uh, they've announced what else? So Lego Batman 2, interesting, good idea. They announced that they want to do WB, who sorta is works with DC. They WB, I think owns the animation rights to DC. Slash DC sort of they're sort of like besties, I guess. Have announced that they want to work on a video game about the DC relaunch. Thoughts about this? I think it's a bad idea. I've liked what they did on Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. This standalone sort of standalone games, but sort of separate from the DC universe. It's like it's within the DC game universe, I guess. Like it's within its own universe, but it draws upon characters from its it draws upon characters from the DC comics. I think a video game about the DC relaunch, um, like a game solely about the DC relaunch wouldn't be fun or interesting. Just because not all the DC relaunches are good. I guess some of them are good, some of them are alright, some are really good, some are just like bad. Um, just my general opinion about that. But I feel like they have their MMO DCU Online. They've been adding patches. They've had a lot of like creative like things. They released the Green Lantern add-on. They had a Flash add-on recently. Um, and off the top of my head, they're releasing. Oh, announced they're releasing Larfleeze Agent Orange DLC for Christmas. Interesting. So maybe if they do a sort of a new 52 relaunch DLC pack for DCU Online where you sort of visit alternate Earth and fight along relaunch characters. Interesting idea or interesting premise. I mean, I that'd be interesting. I'd play that, especially since DCU is free to play now. Like, why not? Um, I said the DLC costs money, but that's not a big deal. DLCs always cost money. Um, so more on the comic booky side of DC, but not about the relaunch. Um, distracted by TV. DC is they've announced that they're planning to do a Batman Black and White 2. Was Batman Black and White? That was a book series back in the early 2000s, featuring some of the most prominent artists of the time, basically drawing Batman in their art style, but in black and white. Simple, short and sweet. A lot of statues have originated out of that. They have one based on many on each of the artist styles. And I plan to. There's one I really want, but I sort of don't want to. They're pretty pricey. They're like $70 to $80. Some of them 150, depending on how rare slash hot the artist is. Um, but Batman Black and White 2. I think it's an interesting premise. I like Batman Black and White. I read it back when it first came out. But at this time, um, what should I let's see with the DC relaunch. I really don't know if they should be doing it, especially since they've rewritten Batman's history. Unless this is a standalone Bat book and it like is Batman before the relaunch, then yeah, why the hell not? I'd love to see Dick Grayson's story in there somewhere. Like I like Dick Grayson's costume design. I would love to see a Dick Grayson Batman black and white statue. Like I really like the character design. Especially the bat belt buckle. That was cool. And the cape. The cape was very thin and not too. Yeah, it's just interesting. I'd like to see what they do with that. Um, I'm not really gonna talk about Watchmen 2, other than I think it's. I don't really have thoughts. I don't really like Watchmen. Um, if Alan Moore does it, fine. If he does it, fine. I don't really care. You know, it's a bunch of prequel stories, so I don't really give a shit about it. Like, no offense to all you Watchmen fans. If you like Watchmen, power to you. You know, maybe they're teabagging your dreams and your childhood right now. I don't really like Watchmen. I don't really like the basic premise behind. I mean, I've read it. I've watched the movie. I've read the book. As I said, I've read it a couple times. It doesn't get better every time I read it. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so awesome." My friends love it. It's okay. Um, so I'm not really up in arms about this Watchmen 2 thing. If it's good, I'll check it out. If it isn't, then sucks. You put Watchmen on it, people are gonna buy it. They don't care. Um, Other than that, that's not really important. They announced an omnibus. Oh, okay. So for the DC New 52 relaunch, or it's really the recent 52 relaunch, there's a DC first announced this relaunch, and they sort of gave off the idea that these creative teams would be permanent slash flowing, and for a while, that's sort of not the case. What relaunch changes? What has happened? Off the top of my head slash recently, uh, for Men of War. I believe Men of War. That's the story about Sergeant Rock. Concerning Sergeant Rock, I haven't really read it. I only read issue one, which was alright, which is actually good. Um, what's happening? Ivan Brandon's leaving the book, and I believe um, yeah. So basically, Ivan Brandon's leaving the book. Who's writing it? Apparently, James Robinson and J.T. Krull. They're um, they're the creative. They're some of the creative team for Static, I believe. They're going to be working on it for a little bit. Um, Gail Simone, or Simon. She's one of the most prominent female artists or writers in the comic book universe. She's leaving Firestorm. Why? I don't know why. Like it happens. What else? JT Kroll, who mentioned is gonna be on Men of War. He left. He's leaving Green Arrow. Um, George Perez, who's been on Superman since the relaunch. Yeah, he's leaving that. I believe Gene Ha is taking over. What else is there? Um, oh, Legion Lost. Fabian Nietzsche, he's leaving. Um, he's leaving Legion Lost. They're gonna hire a new writer. Um, yeah, Gail some. Other than that, oh yeah, they announced recently just came out. The Ray came out last week, I believe, or this week. Part of the new 52 relaunch, sorta. Um, and other than that, there's been more comic more creative team like shakeups. I believe the Static Shock book has been shaken up a little bit. Um, so what do I think about this? Personally, I didn't really read some of these books, so I didn't have a preference. Oh, my hair's in my face. It's getting out. My hair's getting out of hand. Crap. I didn't read some of these books, so it really doesn't matter to me. But I feel like this whole like DC based this relaunch that these writers are gonna be on the books for a while, laying groundwork and creating tales for us, and it's sort of douchey, I guess, when they just like up and leave. I mean, people up and leave, they get busy or things, whatever happens, creative differences. I mean, it's not like these people aren't gonna write for DC anymore. It's just like maybe they have other shit to do. But just the idea is that I just constant creative shifts like this, especially since like these issues have only been out for half a year, and some of these writers have like this just puts more pressure on the current artists or writer teams to finish their arc. Um, and it's a little, this just means that it's like an arc isn't gonna be as good, especially if they planned out a long arc. For example, um, Scott Snyder's Batman run is he announced that it's gonna be the first or Court of Owls is gonna be a 11 issue run, so it's gonna be about a year. That's a long run. If he got kicked off of Batman, he'd have to shorten that to like shorten that, which cuts out a lot of detail and a lot of planning, and it's tough for writers to cope with that. Like especially shortening a script that's already like if they already planned a long arc, it's gonna be hard for them to fit everything and tie everything up nicely and like because they don't want. I feel like you want someone to finish their work and not have like someone else try to rework in their style. Like that's not how like it wouldn't flow that way. So as for the creative team shakeups, I don't really like it, but it happens. Some you guys let me know what you think about it. If you think it's a dumb idea of DC just reboot their series back into the old ways, like why not? Let me know what you guys think about it. Um, another my last final note about DC comics and sort of reboot ish is it pertains to the Flash by Francis Manapul and Brian as a Nazarello. No, it's Brian. What's his face? It's Oh, it's Brian Bucelato. Bucelato. Knew it was Brian something. Azaretto's the writer for Ornament. Brian Bucelato. They're the co-writers slash co-artists, I guess, for the Flash, and they've redesigned the Rogues apparently. They've only previewed Captain Cold. Um, he's wearing like a parka and he has like ice powers now. Um, actually, I like this idea a lot. Just because the Flash, he was always a man of science. That's how he got his powers, chemicals. And his rogues were villains of science. They just don't use random mystical items. They have science behind all of their gadgets and stuff. And I like the idea of their powers evolving one step further, like to count like because the Flash was just OP. I felt like yeah, I'm not lying. Like the truth you told, the Flash gets these normal people with an ice gun or some dude that travels through mirrors or the trickster. Yeah, he's overpowered. Like he always wins. Know why? Because he runs super fast and vibrates to shit. Like um but now that they've announced that Captain Cold got a redesign and like there's some sort of tension between the rogues and they're gonna try to go dive into that backstory. What does that mean? Captain Cold basically has ice powers, sort of like Sub-Zero, I guess, from Mortal Kombat. He shoots ice beams and stuff. So it'll be interesting what they do with that. Especially since Francis Manapul announced like these powers don't come without a cost. They redesigned the costume for Captain Cold. It's like a vest with a hood. It's actually very interesting. I like it a lot. It's like it still keeps that iconic Captain Cold look, but freshens it up a little bit. Um, I hope they do something interesting with his ice powers. I hope he just doesn't shoot ice blast. That's gonna be boring. Like Iceman does that, and Captain Cold did that with his gun forever. Like if they do something crazy, oh, interesting. Sorry about that, I yawned. With this revamp of these villains, interesting. Um, so that's for Flash. They've also announced Steel is gonna be showing up in X Men, not X Men, Superman Steel. Um, I'm not really a fan. I don't read Superman. I'm not really a fan of Superman, truth be told. The reason being that I find Superman to be sort of a boring hero. Especially if it focuses, like, he really just does the same thing all the time. It's a little depressing. So that's about it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's about it for DC's current like thoughts. I'm not really gonna do. Maybe I'll do a movie video later this week. Just my thoughts about the current news about Batman and Amazing Spider-Man, Ghost Rider. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm bullshit, if you like what's happening in DC and Marvel, watch my other videos. Let me know. Subscribe if you like it. If you don't, you don't. I always love to hear your input. So thanks for watching, guys.